Hey guys, Ezra here, and welcome back to another movie review. And today I want to review this movie called Wreck, which is like a Spanish found footage movie. I planned to review this movie a long time ago, but I haven't got a chance to do it. So I thought that, well, I might as well do it right now because it's Halloween, and I thought that I might as well put like one or two movies about, horror movies, and just, for the spooky season. I think it will be cool to talk about my favorite movies, and I think yeah, I absolutely love Bright, because I think this is to me, uh, I think it's the best found footage movie ever, and I think it's actually pretty scary in a way and that's because everything that happens in this movie are unscripted. So sometimes the actor here just doesn't know what happened next in the movies, and I think that just like really adds up to the fact that it was like unpredictable. And I think the actor are with us, with the audience, that we don't know what's going to happen. And I think the mistake that some found footage movie made is that they decided to scripted everything, which I understand it's a movie, so obviously you want to script it everything, but I feel like when you are making a film for this movie, I think it's important to make them look real and feel real. And I think Rag uh, manages to achieve that, which is, yeah, and it's one of the reasons why this movie is scary to so many people. And so for the story of Rag, we are following this reporter named Angela Vidal, played by Manuela Velasco. I think I might butcher her name there. I'm sorry, but she's actually a Spanish like television presenter. Which again add to to the characters, authenticness of the movie. And the cameraman is actually played by the cinematography of this movie, Pablo Rosso. Um, so Angela is basically trying to do like a documentary or like a reality TV shows, named while you're sleeping, and this television series covers like at least right now covers like one of the fire station people, and just to figure out how the fire station actually work, and actually operates. And one day they basically they got called into this apartment building on Rambla de Catalunya, I think. That's the street's name. Again, I might butcher that name. I'm sorry, but in this apartment, that's where we met our most of our characters, and apparently. The neighbor hears some screams in the apartment, and there's already two police officers there, which basically starting the movie here, where we follow our characters to this one room, which we're gonna get back to this room a lot in the movie, which I always kind of forget that, because I'm rewatching this movie again. I was like, oh yeah, they get back to this apartment every single time, and I understand why, because like that apartment room is absolutely creepy, and they managed to find one victim, I think, Miss Conchita, I think that's her name, and she was bloody, and it was implied that she was infected, and she's becoming a zombie. And because of this, all hell break loose, where the government or like the police officers decide to lock down the building. And it's just like, yeah, it's a very, very scary stuff, because I think I watched this movie way back in 2020, which like back when COVID happens, and quarantine happens, and this movie felt just hits hard, when I was watching it back in the day. I was like, yeah, this is what everybody's been going through, man. So like, yeah, it's definitely a very scary idea, to be locked inside of a building while knowing that there is danger inside of it and you cannot get out. And usually in the horror movies that the characters unable to call for help, for call for police, there is always something blocking their signal, in their phone. But in this one, it's like, no, they were absolutely quarantined by the officials, and it was making it, in my opinion, 10 times more scary, because there is a lot of people out there. So like life out there goes normal, and then for the people inside the building, it becomes a nightmare for them. And during this quarantine, Angela decided to introduce some of the characters in the building, kind of like familiarize ourselves with the characters before they, well, got killed, and they did a good job in the because I think they managed to showcase like certain neighbors and then certain like behavior from the neighbors, and I think kind of like familiarize ourselves with the characters. And eventually, after this, the city official decided to sense like one health inspector, I think, and to inspect like the bite victim of the police officer. And all hell's again break loose, because like the zombie also breaking from the cuffs, I think. And basically everything just when just completely break loose, and I think all the characters are like running around, and is, getting chased by zombies, and it was very, very scary because like how the found footage format was filmed, and I think it's just like, again, makes everything so real and so grounded. And yeah, it was absolutely terrifying seeing like the remaining scene of the movie, where we see our main characters just like desperately trying to survive, the zombies. And then there's also like a really scary zombie kid, which I think I gotta give credit to like the actress who played the zombie kid. Like, she was amazing. The scream was absolutely nightmarish, um but yeah, so Angela and Pablo and like one firefighter decide to like try to find off the zombies together and try to survive. And they decide to go to this like the top penthouse owner, the penthouse building, where apparently penthouse owner was no longer there and it was abandoned. So they decided to enter the penthouse, because there is no other choices. But unfortunately, I think it's only Angela and Pablo, because the rest of the residents of the apartment got infected. And as they enter this place, which in my opinion, the set design here is so creepy, because it was kind of like revealed, or like it was like I guess allude to, at least in the first movie before the sequel completely confirms that this might not be just like a typical zombie apocalypse movie, but this is rather a viral possession. So there is one girl named Tristana, I think, played by in this movie, played by Javier Botet. And you might know Javier Botet from so many horror movies, like It Chapter 1, Chapter 2. He plays, I think he plays Dracula recently, and he plays Slenderman also. He's a very well-known actor who plays like monsters in horror movies. And yeah, see, he plays Tristana Medeiros, which is like a young woman who becomes like the patient zero of the possession. Which I think is just insane to me, that the Wreck movie was actually like a viral possession, not just like a normal zombie movies, And in in this movie, it feels like a zombie movie until that ending, which it feels like either that works as a like a plot reveal, or it was kind of like alluding to the fact that it might be a viral processes, because we never know the answers until the sequel completely confirms that, which I think is just, yeah, it's effective. And in this penthouse, there is like actually one effective jump scare, which heads up, I guess, where Pablo is like, sticking his camera to the attic, and then as the camera pan over, you see this like zombie boy just like jumping to the camera, which I think, yeah, that's a very effective jump scare in my opinion. And because of that, the zombie boy managed to knock out the camera's light, so they only have night vision, which is absolutely terrifying. And I think, fun fact here, this movie basically inspired the game Outlast, by Red Barrels, released in 2013. I love the first game, and you can clearly see the inspiration here, especially in the end when there is only night vision. And then Pablo can actually see like Tristana in the dark, this long woman, because she's been possessed for a long time, and she's looking like that, and then you got Angela, where she's unable to see anything. And they actually shot this in the darkness, so Angela just like the actress who plays Angela just unable to see anything, which is like absolutely terrifying, which again adds to the authenticness of the movie itself. But eventually Tristana kills Pablo and presumably kills Angela, until we figure out in the sequel that she survived, until Wreck 4 Apocalypse. In my opinion, if there isn't any sequel to Wreck, then I think this would have been like one of the greatest or like scariest movie ending ever. I guess it kind of still is, because like the last shot of the movie is actually Angela getting dragged into the darkness, which I think is such an iconic shot. And it was absolutely amazing. I think even recently in Resident Evil Requiem, the ninth one, like the main protagonist Grace actually also get dragged by a similar creature, where he gets dragged to the darkness. So I don't know if that was like referencing the ending of Wreck, but it kind of feels like that. It's like, wow, okay, you can clearly see how good this movie was and how influential this movie was, for not only for games, but I think for like other found footage movie as well, because again, I cannot sing enough praises for how much this movie is trying to do everything for real, and at the moment, where all the actors are hired in this movie when they can, so they can, improvise on the spot. And that's the idea. So there is no clear script or dialogue for all the characters, but there is some moment will happen randomly, and the actors have to react accordingly, So I think it just adds more to the authenticness of the movie and the found footage element, and that's what makes this movie so scary, And the sequel, I think it kind of loses that, in a way. I like Wreck 2, but I think Wreck 1 is still like the most superior movie. Like again, does it need a sequel? No, it's not. But when something is so successful, then obviously the studio and the filmmaker drove them to make a sequel. I think the directors of this movie, they don't even plan to make this a sequel in like Jaume Belanguero and then Paco Plaza. Which again, I might butcher their name. I apologize, but those two directors doesn't have any plans to do a sequel. You know, it's the success of this movie that leads to a sequel. In which is again is fine because I like Rack 2. You know, I think it's nice to expand the lore for a bit, but I think it's also nice to maybe not telling us what actually happens, you know. And I think it's actually better if you don't know anything about this viral possession, you know. They could just be like alluding that it might be a possession or it could just be a virus, you know. I think and the ending could be a lot more scarier if you have no idea what happened to Angela. You know, I mean, she get dragged, so obviously she died, you know. But the sequel, she survived, so there's that, I guess. But I really love this movie, and I kind of recommend you guys to watch this movie enough, you know, if you guys haven't already. I mean, I basically already spoiled the movie here in this review, you know, but still, you know, if you guys haven't watched it, then I think you guys still going to appreciate the movie itself, you know, because me describing the plot here, it doesn't justify, or like showing the little bit of footage here, it doesn't justify how great the movie was, you know, if you watch it for the first time. And you know, I remember watching for the first time and I was absolutely creeped out, you know, by everything else, and it was so intense, you know, from beginning to end, you know, when the things just start, when the infection start in the apartment, it just became scary, you know. And I think it was like, it was fantastic. It's very influential, and the movie itself is also influential to Outlast, you know. So again, another great thing, you know. But anyway, guys, that's my review for Wreck, you know. Let me know, guys, your opinions about this movie in the comment section below. Do you guys like it? Do you guys hate it? You know, what is your favorite or scary moments of the movie? You guys can let me know your opinions on that in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed this review, then make sure, guys, you know, record that subscribe and like button, share the videos, usual stuff, and stay tuned for more videos in the future. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one then. Bye.